There is no place quite like the Daytona International Speedway unless, of course, you are in victory lane at the Daytona International Speedway. And that's where Kevin Harvick finds himself after a bar fight on four wheels. 28 cars started this event and only 11 finished up. So that tells you how wild this event was, as we had drivers fighting their race cars all over this track for the entire 75 laps of this newly formatted Budweiser Shootout. Let's take a look at segment number one as we started out. Now again, this race is decided, the starting grid, by the luck of the draw, and we had Paul Menard lead us to the green flag, but it didn't take long for the sparks to start flying.
Well, you know, we saw practice last night, Kenny. We saw a lot of dicing early in practicing. What's going on? Goodyear did change his tire.
And I want to point out right away, look and see where Kevin Harvick's starting. Do not tell me that your starting position matters. Harvick is only 5 from the rear. Look here, look here. There's Kevin Harvick right there.
And here's a pass for the lead, guys. You know, here's the 98, starts on the pole, but look at this. Here comes them Toyotas with Elliott Sadler pushing.
All right, Elliott Sadler gets the push in the back of Denny Hamlin, and Denny Hamlin, a former winner of this race, takes the lead. And now we have the first of several big wrecks as we start spinning around, and it's David Reagan that looks like he gets the bad end of that one.
Yeah, David Reagan, what happened here, fans? You know, they're racing, dicing for positions, and all at once it's that chain reaction. You hear that a lot, where this guy starts to lift, this guy starts to lift. David Reagan gets hit from behind with the number 7. Here's the cars involved: Casey Mears, David Reagan, Robbie, Greg Biffle, Joey Logano, and Scott Speed. Now these two guys at the bottom, look at Joey, damn hard in the wall. Scott Speed, into the wall. Jeff Gordon, guys, look at this. I tell you what, fans, I've seen a lot of things happen at this racetrack. Kenny, I'm gonna tell you something. I never seen that much movement by Jeff Gordon. What precision.
Jeff Gordon looked like he was on a video game. He weaved his way through that wreck. Now, right here, we're thinking, Earnhardt. We are thinking right now, Junior, he is the man. He's going to bring our sport back. Junior in the lead on the get-go, and all chaos right here.
Close call for Bobby Labonte in the number 96 as he gets squirrely in the middle of a big pack, but a veteran move as he backs it off and stays safe.
And we can't say, you know, Kenny, you and I both driven here, the cars, how loose they are, fans. It's hard to believe. And what happens when you get loose? You have to give a little throttle. Look at these cars dicing, Kenny. Loose, loose, loose. Now here's the 29. He hits the wall, Herm.
And the 29 wins the race. Let me remind you now, as a race car driver, when you come to the Bud Shootout, you have to say, I am willing to cheat death. I will run the car until it spins out. And that's what they did. You have to have plenty disability insurance, and you cannot be afraid to wreck.
Now here's a little bit of the getting used to the new numbers there. You see Carl Edwards in the number 99, but that's his old sponsor in Office Depot on the 14 of Tony Stewart, who gets shuffled back through the field. And right now it looks to be a battle between the 11 and the 99 of Denny Hamlin and Carl Edwards. Jeff Gordon on the high side, Kurt Busch in the middle of the storm there, and watch the save by Denny Hamlin.
What a save, a great save. There you go, fans. What's such a simple situation? He gets a little loose. He does a fantastic job saving that car.
And here comes more trouble for Denny Hamlin. Gets up into David Rudiman down into David Stremme, and it looks like a case of cars just hopping all over the racetrack.
I think Denny Hamlin is full of excitement. He goes up into the double zero, pushes the double zero down into David Stremme. These are two victim of circumstances. Rudiman, Stremme have nothing to do with it. You know, Hamlin is just on the wheel. He's ready to go and creates total chaos early in the race.
Now what's surprising, first of all, is a lot of these guys involved in these wrecks, we kept seeing them getting back in the race. As you take a look at also you take a look at Greg Biffle throughout the course of this second segment. I don't know how many times.
Oh my Lord.
Let's take a quick look here. Watch the way they started out at the green flag. It was Paul Menard up front in the first position, Elliott Sadler, but watch what happened by the end of 25 laps. There you have Carl Edwards up front with teammate Jamie McMurray, Jimmy Johnson, Casey Kane, and Kurt Busch shuffled to the back by virtue of that wreck. The 82, 6, 7, and the 20, they were done for all intents and purposes for the rest of the night after segment number 1. But stand by, everybody. We still have another 50 laps to go in the shootout, and there were some of the wildest we've ever seen in this Saturday night race under the lights. Kevin Harvick celebrates. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody, to NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed. There is the winning car in the 31st Budweiser Shootout. It's a car that's familiar with Victory Lane here in Daytona because it's been here after the 500 once before, and now Kevin Harvick has driven it to victory at Daytona International.
Yeah, big race here.
Big race. I was overwhelmed by the combination smell here, Kevin, of champagne and fresh leather. They go well together.
Yeah, we got Budweiser from tonight, Coca-Cola, Childress champagne. I don't know what else.
The right kind.
I don't know what else.
Shell was probably involved.
How about bent sheet metal and burnt rubber for smells? That was a wild ride.
I say we have off seasons from November to February every year, because that was the most exciting race I've been a part of in a long time.
Okay, look, you win the race. You look like you was at Eldora up there on the cushion. And I have it wrote down in my notes. 29 wins on the high side again. And you said to me that I did it the same corner.
Yeah.
Tell me about that move. You win Daytona 2 years ago, the 500, and then you do the same move.
Yeah, we just got a good run up there on the top, and I don't remember exactly how it went. I know we went through the middle there, and then the 11 got right behind me and gave me a shove, and the 26 just kind of chose a lane, thinking that I guess we were coming too fast or wasn't gonna keep going.
Kevin, how important is that push?
Well, if the 11 doesn't come down and push me, we don't win the race. So, you know, the push right there, and then obviously they wrecked. I didn't really pay attention to that part a whole lot, but you know, the caution came out, and I knew at that point we were in good shape.
You know, Kevin, early in the race, the first 25 laps, you were pretty strong, and then it looks like you guys
got in
the wall.
Yeah.
And then you went to the back and you made a great decision, you and Todd, to say, we're just going to sit here and wait. Did you do a lot of damage to the car? Did you have to fix it during that break?
Well, it split the left front fender in that seam right there where it's welded together, where the fiberglass and the nose. 83 spotter just thought he was clear there, and it just kind of hooked it. And the left front fender was the problem, and it was a little bit tight. And then that left front fender came off, and it was really tight. So we just kind of hung out there, knew we had some time to fix it. And then I about ran over Michael Waltrip when he blew his tire or whatever. I had to go on the apron, lost the draft. So we came in and got off cycle on tires there a little bit, and wound up being all right.
Hey, Kevin, you're putting together one hell of a resume over the past few years here. I mean, you got your Brickyard, you got your Daytona 500, Bud Shootout. How does this one figure into all those big races? Because it's the first one. It's the bragging rights.
Yeah, I think, this is a win's a win, man. Eldora,
right.
Peevely Speedway,
That's right.
Macon, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Daytona, it's racing's racing, whether it's in the backyard or on the Daytona Super Speedway here. It's just a lot of fun.
Kevin, okay, the fans is all saying, Bud Shootout, we're all bragging about the Bud Shootout, how great it is. It's very important to know what you did tonight for Thursday's duel, and then naturally the 500, isn't it?
I was a little tentative in the beginning of the race to go up the middle. Just, last time we were here, our cars were so all over the place. They're still move around a lot, but my car was really good in the middle there at the end, and I guess I should have done that sooner, because that's how the 2 car kept making it back up through there. So they say I always get suckered into the middle, but tonight it was a sucker into the right hole.
Paid off.
Yeah.
200 grand.
You know how often?
Is that how much it paid?
Yeah,
200,000.
200 grand.
I know I've got a cool Cutler trophy. I'm sure Richard will get the check.
Priceless.
It leads me right to my question. Now, I'm the off-centered one, so I asked the most important question. Okay, you won a lot of big races and you get leather coats. What did you do with the Daytona 500 coat, and what will you do with this coat? Do you hang it up in your closet? Do you frame it? I mean, you got a great race shop.
I got a rack. And they all sit down there covered up with the champagne and everything still on them. Dylan's like, hey, maybe you should take that jacket off. I said, no, I won't. I'm not going to ever wear it again.
What do you cover them up with? Just plastic? Or?
Yeah, just something to preserve them. So
awesome.
That way they're stuck to the plastic, but who cares?
They got the original
Get them all out and smell them and remember the good times, right?
Well, that's a sweet smell of victory, Kevin.
That's
Congratulations. What a great way to start the season.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Good job, and man, it was a wild ride.
And tomorrow we're going to go watch Herman race on the
Yep,
dirt.
everybody.
Okay, and that's going to be just as wild.
Evolution.
Herman's going to do that. Kevin did that tonight. Congratulations to Kevin Harvick and Richard Childress Racing for grabbing the big first prize of the season. And there's not too many guys that have been able to say they have won this Budweiser Shootout. There have been 18 different drivers to win here in this all-star event under the lights. We'll be back with more Victory Lane in a moment. We're back in Victory Lane after the Budweiser Shootout here at Daytona. Let's take a look at car owner wins. Rick Hendrick and Richard Childress are now tied with 6, and that makes them on top of a very impressive list of folks who have won this Bud Shootout as car owners. And Richard joins us now. We're going to get back to the highlights in just a moment, but these guys are coming over to talk to us because they're excited about this. Richard, I know Kevin just told us a win is a win is a win. but this one that you get to celebrate right now after tonight, after a wild one out there, has to be up there with some of the best of them.
Oh, it was. It was one of the greatest races. The fans had to love it. For the race fans, this had to be a first-class race. And for us to win such a race is big.
Richard, you know, we watched Roger Penske come into victory lane last year for the 500. As a car owner, you just got to be just so giddy, so excited right now. As an owner, you come in as a winner already.
Yeah, I mean, this sets the tone for the year. If you come to Daytona and win, we know our cars are pretty good. They may not be quite as fast in qualifying trim, but we're going to race really good in the 500. And today proved Jeff was running good, and Casey, he was coming up there and got caught at the end. So we're really excited. These guys have done a really good job at RCR. I'm happy for Shell and Chevrolet, you know, for everything that's going on in the country, and to come in here and win that with a Chevrolet Impala tonight was awesome.
You know, RC, you started your 4th team. You know, as an owner, I mean, this is got to be a great highlight. You know, starting the year out, no testing, goes to show you how well you have ran last year. The 4th team, what's it going to add to you, you know, as far as an owner, from a standpoint of taking that big challenge?
Yeah, the 4th team, we waited and waited and waited till we thought it could complement what we're doing, and it took the right driver and the right people, and to put Casey Mears in our group, I think that's really going to highlight it.
Hey, Richard, what have you heard from your group about how hard these cars are to handle? I mean, when we see guys as great of drivers that are out there sawing on the wheels, bouncing all over the place, has that been the talk amongst your group of getting these things a little bit calmed down?
Yeah, it has, and you know, we talked, you know, right after we went out and did the first practice, we all talked, Jeff and Kevin and Casey, and it was just, the cars are, everybody, it's not like you're by yourself. Everybody's moving all around, and everybody's getting a little better handle on it.
Here you see a great save by Denny Hamlin as he gets all kind of loose there and really avoids disaster.
Unbelievable.
Richard, you know, as a spectator watching this race and having the success you've had, now, how much information can you take from tonight's race and feed it to the rest of the organization to be prepared for Thursday's duel here on Speed?
I think the track, as y'all know, it will change throughout. Every race it changes. And you got to keep up with the racetrack, and what we learned tonight will definitely carry in for Thursday, some of the stuff.
Richard, I'm a pure NASCAR guy, but since we're having so much fun right now, you know, you're getting younger, because now you got your grandkids out at Volusia Speedway Park. You got both the Dillon boys, and you were in Victory Lane just 2 nights ago. I mean, what's it like to be in Victory Lane here, out at the dirt track, and winning out there? It's a great start.
Yeah, seeing those two, the 2 grandsons, Austin and Ty. Austin won the biggest race, you know, one of these big late models, you know, I mean, not late model, but modified. It was just super to watch him win. And little Ty, I'm telling you, he scared me to death watching him race.
Will you bring, Austin finished 4th at Memphis last year. Is your goal to have him as a Cup driver one day?
Someday, you know, either one of them or whatever they do, but then we want to run, we're going to run a few nationwide again this coming year.
Richard, what makes you run so well here? Even back with the late Dale, I mean, you just always seem to run well at Daytona.
You know, we work so hard, all the guys in the shop, everybody prepares so hard for Daytona. This is a big show. It kicks it off good for your sponsors. Shell Pennzoil has to be thrilled tonight and all their customers, so it's good to come out and win and be up front at Daytona.
And Richard, we are thrilled that you didn't bring this whole bottle of champagne and squirt us with it. We're happy about that, but we're also congratulations. That's an absolutely great win for you and RCR to start out the season.
Yeah, champagne.
Yeah, this is Victory Cuvée, Childress Victory Cuvée, for all the winning moments in your life.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
And they're wasting a lot of good champagne over there, but it's worth it tonight because this is a huge win. When we come back, we're going to have a lot more highlights from this Budweiser shootout because it was a wild one, and we want to remind you that if you like going in 2 wheels as well as 4, you got to check out AMA Supercross. It is only on Speed, and you can catch it from Atlanta February 21st live at 7:30 Eastern Time. We'll go back to the 4-wheelers when we come back to Victory Lane. Well, after this Budweiser shootout, we then turn our focus to the Gatorade Duel at Daytona. It's Thursday, it's live at 2 o'clock, and it's only on Speed, and that is the race that sets the field for the 51st running of the Daytona 500, the great American race here at the Daytona International Speedway as we continue to count down to that big race, and that's the next big thing on our docket here on Speed as we prepare you throughout the week for the Gatorade Duel at Daytona. Right now, though, we're going to get back to the highlights here. When we left off with the highlights, we had finished the first segment. Now we're going to pick it up on lap 25 with the restart of segment number 2 and take you through some more wild racing. There's still a lot of cars alive right now, but Jimmy, you know, that doesn't last very long.
No, you know, now these guys have got 10-minute break and they're starting. They say, okay, we've made all our adjustments. We've got everything where we want it. Go for it, boys.
And now we're 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide. Casey came to the inside. All chaos again. Now look at Casey. He's blocking right now. He's looking in his mirror as much as he's looking forward. I tell that to young kids. You're looking in the mirror as much as you're looking forward at Daytona.
That 18 right there was strong all night long. Remember, he won the restrictor plates at Talladega here in July. He will be a factor all weekend, as he is showing his strength right here, Johnny.
Casey Kane was leading the high lap with Jamie McMurray in tow, and then you saw the 18 behind him, and now here we go. All heck breaks loose. This is one of many spins for Greg Biffle in the middle of the pack, and again, it's pretty miraculous that we got out of this one with as little damage as we did. The Biff bounced right back.
He does, you know, he doesn't have a lot of damage, but here it is here. We see he evidently got a little loose or whatever, and Jeff just bumped him. It's one of them chain reaction features again. And Kenny, you know, that took out Jeff Burton.
And at this time, I want you to watch for the 29 car, the winner, Kevin Harvick. Let's watch.
48 involved in that.
Okay,
there's
the 29, and he wins the race.
What a move, Kenny. Good eyes, buddy.
Now, can you believe that?
And Tony Stewart was able to get on the binders too as well, and he was able to move his way back up through the field by the time this thing was all said and done. Now we get a bird's eye view of a lot of rush hour traffic going on here on the high banks. And guess what? It's the Biff again.
Yeah, you know, this is the same one, Johnny.
Oh, still on the same wreck. I'm sorry,
the thing was, that was a great shot because we saw Greg and Jeff and them all 3 wide, and it looks to me, Kenny, like the Biff moves up just a little bit.
Here's what happens. Look at Gordon. They pinch him 4 wide.
Oh, they passed that early. You see that?
4 wide.
That's what caused it.
There was no room.
You're right, Kenny.
Race fans, you cannot run 4 wide. When you see 4 wide, start getting up out of your couch because they're going to wreck.
Good move by A.J. Allmendinger as well to get it down on the apron there. And here we go into the pits.
What's interesting here, Johnny, is that I say everybody pits. No, they don't all pit. 18 and 11 stays out on this, but these guys awful early, only 9 laps in.
Close call on pit lane there as we have a couple guys going in with different strategies and come out at different times. Here's how they started segment 2. At the end of segment 1, Carl Edwards was in the lead with Jamie McMurray and Jimmy Johnson up front. That would change and change quickly as we got then to lap number 42 after that last big wreck, and we had Jamie McMurray looking very good in the lead with 8 laps to go.
And I have to correct myself, fans. I made a mistake. The 18 and 11 only took on fuel.
Okay, so all kinds of different strategies going on, but we still have a lot of racing left to go here in the second segment of the 2009 Budweiser Shootout, and it all played into the hands of that group right there, Richard Childress Racing. Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway. We are in victory lane, celebrating alongside with Kevin Harvick as he and Richard Childress Racing celebrate this very big victory in the Budweiser Shootout. You know, Richard Childress as an owner now has 6 victories. This is the first one that he has gotten that Dale Earnhardt Sr. did not drive the car in. The first one comes with Kevin Harvick. Now, as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story, or actually the rest of the race. Let's pick it up back on lap number 43 after the big one. Got a bunch of cars bent up. We see Jeff Gordon is about to work his way back out to the front again. He's got teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. in front of him.
Yeah, and here, you know, that 18 is strong again, but Junior's a factor here, fans. Junior loves this racetrack just like his father, and he could really figure out how to get his car handling, Kenny. Him and Tony and the boys done a great job, and look who's leading.
And the next thing we're going to look at is...
It's a little scary.
The next thing we're going to look at is, look at this, 3, 4. Look how hard he hits. They end up putting Michael Waltrip in the wall with these big runs. The runs are so huge. It's like the Truck Series.
And then again, Kevin Harvick in the 29 missed trouble by going down on the apron. He's hanging in the back, but he's not going to be there for long.
Look at the 18. Look at him sawing. He's right. He's out of the
Hey, who's that behind him?
That is none other than Tony Stewart, the smoke, and the number 14.
And who said other one?
Hey.
The 48.
Well,
these are the
48.
players, my
there.
point. These are the players we're going to see in the Daytona 500 right there.
Tough break here for Elliott Sadler as he gets into it with David Stremme, gets turned around, and Elliott Sadler's hopes for a victory in the Bud Shootout are wiped out.
You know, I have a lot of friends, but I must admit, between Stremme and the Biff, I think they wrecked all night long.
Well, here's the look right here, but the 19 car lifts a little bit, gets a little loose. You saw Denny Hamlin pull away from him. That really wasn't Stremmy's fault. The 19 gets a little loose, just again, racing here at Daytona. And you know what? It opens up pit road again, guys.
Back in the pits for Jimmy Johnson. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s in as well, and that's a little bunching up there as
Watch
you go
this.
out on the grass. Ooh. There is Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch have to go in the field.
I want you guys to check this out. Now here's the 24. He's going to make a pit stop. They make a decent pit stop. They're way up in front. Watch Tony. He is way quicker, but fans, he's way down pit road. That goes to show you the congestion. Where you pick your pit stalls, very critical. Obviously, Gordon got a good pit selection. That helped him come out ahead of those guys. Even on the big tracks, it still gets tight in the pits. Here comes Jeff Gordon. He's one of the masters on this racetrack, and it looks like he might be in a very good position. He's looking for help from the teammate, Jimmy Johnson, and Johnson goes on the high side.
Jeff Gordon is out to prove himself this year. He's full of conviction this year. He has told people, I'm gonna go at it this year, and he was driving really hard this race. I'm impressed with Tony Stewart, guys. You know, brand new team, right there in the hunt all night long.
Get ready, we're not done wrecking yet. Paul Menard in the back of the field takes out Dale Earnhardt Jr., and a couple other cars go spinning as well.
I couldn't figure out, Kenny, why Jr. was so far in the back of the pack right there. That was puzzling to me, why he was so far back.
His car was loose getting in, Spence, and he got shot up there earlier.
Take a
look at the action.
Yeah, here's a look at the action. Now you see the 98 car, Paul Menard getting loose, gets Bobby Labonte, lifts, gets up in the wall. Junior, innocent victim. How could that happen, fans?
And how could the Biff be involved again?
The Biff again, there you go. That's the third time for the Biff tonight.
3 out of 4. 26 of Jamie McMurray, who has won on this track before, and Jeff Gordon, who has won a ton on this track before, as he goes on the low side and without any help makes the pass over Jamie McMurray.
This is the one that confuses me, fans. You know, here we are racing. I want you to watch this as we further along. Here we come. Look at this. Greg Biffle and Stremmey are last place. And he spins out the Biff. You know, now that there I think was David Stremmey's fault. But end thing here, the Biff. What a night.
Tough night for the Biff, 4 wrecks, but here we go. Down the backstretch at Daytona, Kevin Harvick takes it away as he looks in his rearview mirror. Still a whole lot of wrecking going on, but it's time to end this night as the checkered flag comes out, and for the first time ever, Kevin Harvick is in victory lane after the Budweiser shootout with Jamie McMurray close behind in second. They call him Happy Harvick. And you can't get much happier than winning a race like this, an all-out shootout.
Yeah, and I said to him earlier, 200 grand, like he didn't know what it paid.
Yeah, he knew. Well, if he didn't, he knows now.
A.J. Allmendinger, look right there.
Job.
Hey, that's the Petty Blue. Awesome job, A.J. That is a good job, baby.
Once again, A.J. Allmendinger leads Richard Petty Motorsports.
His teammate right there in 6th. Hey, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon. Look at this, guys. Carl Edwards had a strong car. Kurt Busch not as strong. Matt Kent's a strong car. 9th, Kyle Busch 10th.
And Roush Fenway was represented very well in the top 10. Let's go to 11 through 20 as we see Brian Vickers. Good finish for him. Denny Hamlin, whole lot of wrecking going on there, but he ended up 13th.
I would like to say, look, David Stremmey and Greg Biffle, I was not meaning to make fun of them. At the end, it got to be funny.
It was.
I'm glad they're okay. But it was hilarious.
And they indeed had their hands full out there with these race cars. We'll talk a lot about that on Speed tomorrow, and as this week progresses, that these cars are all over the place. Michael Waltrip, Reed Sorensen, Jeff Burton, all guys involved in these earlier skirmishes, and you don't really know what to blame that on. Is it the fact that we haven't had enough track time so far without the practice sessions, or the testing sessions rather, or is it just the fact that we got all kinds of unknowns out there, a green racetrack? You know, point fingers all over the place if you want to, but when it comes right down to it, these guys were all sawing the wheels, working it out, best drivers in the world in a big old shootout.
Well, the thing is that I think the intent of this race is what it did do tonight. It was one of the best races, like RC said, that we've seen at Daytona in a long time. But you know what bothers me? Scott Speed and Joey Logano. Here's 2 guys pretty high, excited about being in this event. End of the day, Kenny, what did they make, 2, 3, 4 laps? And neither one of them at fault. Too bad for those guys.
Well, here's what I say about the Bud Shootout. What a great event. We got what we wanted. We got a boatload of wrecks, and that's what we all wanted. We knew that.
And nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt. That's very most important. Nobody got hurt. But here's what I have to say. Too many cars for such a small amount of laps. And the mindset is go, 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 go. When in reality...
Disagree.
Well, hold on. Okay, you can disagree. But in reality, The car that won the race ran around the back of the pack until it was time to go. Kevin Harvick, I showed you in every replay, was running 25th, and they all got done wrecking, and he wins the race.
My point is I disagree because I enjoyed the race. I know, I'm glad nobody got hurt, but daggone it was a good race. Next year, start 32.
Well, Jimmy's already expanded the field, but you know what?
And only 10
poor old
laps.
Greg Biffle had a rough night out there. You know he enjoys this kind of racing. He told us that on race day, but let's take a look at the 4 incidents that Greg Biffle was involved in. Surprising that he was involved in so many, but also surprising that he kept bouncing back.
Yeah, and it goes to show you that, you know, Greg Irwin and him, these guys are fighters. This is why he became a factor in this chase last year. He's not giving up. And if you look, he's been, you know, in my opinion, Kenny, he's a circumstance. He didn't cause these wrecks.
Race fans, it is true that there is a word called bad luck. Yes, that is bad luck. Don't tell me it's not. Watch, he gets hit. I mean, what's he doing wrong?
Nothing.
Nothing. Victim of circumstance, and that's all about racing on these big restrictor plate tracks. That happens from time to time, and you know what? Some nights are better than others, and night couldn't be better for Kevin Harvick. You know, Kevin Harvick not only is a driver, but he's also an owner, and he's going to take a close look at the Camping World Truck Series race that's coming up this weekend on Speed. Next Friday, you don't want to miss it. It's live at 7:30. Kevin Harvick will have a dog in this fight as the Truck Series comes to Daytona for what is always one of the best shows of the week on Speed Weeks. Welcome back, everyone, to the Daytona International Speedway. Many new eras began tonight. A new look for the Budweiser Shootout with the manufacturers equally represented in this race, but also a new era started tonight with Stewart-Haas Racing and Tony Stewart behind the wheel of the number 14. And I think tonight Tony Stewart can say, well, we're pretty well begun.
A.J. Allmendinger and Tony Stewart talking after this race. Good top 5 finishes for both. Looked a little bit wicked from where we were sitting. How about from your seat?
Believe it or not, I was more comfortable this year than last year for some reason. And I was really happy with my car. I felt like we had one of the best handling cars out there. It was just a matter of, you know, keeping the track position and not getting bogged down. But, you know, really was happy with our Hendrick engine, was really happy with the chassis. Was very, very impressed with Darian Grubb and the crew tonight. It's like, it didn't even feel like it was the first night. It just felt like we just kind of carried on from something else that we've never done before. But it was definitely a good debut for Old Spice and Office Depot for sure.
So very happy as a car owner and a driver, and a good sign of things to come for the 500, Tony?
I don't know how you could be disappointed with a top 3 the first day. So, you know, it wasn't the prettiest top 3. It wasn't like we drove our way up there. But, you know, we did restart in the back of the pack there that last run and got there in a couple laps. But, you know, it's still, we know we got some things to work on for the 500. And the good thing is I'm really confident that our chassis are really good right now. And, you know, we got a couple little areas to tweak on with it, but I think that at least we got a direction of what we need to work on for the 500 now.
Bottom line, Tony Stewart was at the front of this field.
Well, I tell you, Bob, you're right. He was at the front of the field, and there's no better way for a car owner than to have his car run as strong as it did tonight. Car owner being Tony Stewart. Thing is here, fans, is that the thing that I look at here is the marriage between Darian Grubb and Tony Stewart. We know the marriage he had between Greg Zipadelli and himself. Awesome. When you start the season out with a new crew chief, new team, you can't have anything better than to have that cohesiveness. You know, he said they know they got to work on some things, but what a way to start the year here in the biggest race of the year. Big step in the right direction for both of them. You're going to see a lot out of this team this year, Johnny.
And you know what is very surprising is the fact that you have to go back to the Charlotte Fall race 2 years ago to find the last time that Jeff Gordon won a points-paying event. So a win here tonight for Jeff Gordon certainly would have been huge, but nonetheless, a top 5 finish is something to be proud of. Let's go back to Bob Dillner.
As always, the Bud Shootout, an extremely exciting finish. Take me through that last lap, Jeff.
I couldn't even tell you what was going on in the last lap. I was holding it wide open, looking for every bit of momentum and gap and hole that I could, and anybody to push me or go with. And you know, I mean, we were 4 wide coming off of turn 2, and there wasn't enough room to be 4 wide. And I was pushing Casey Mears, and we got a heck of a run down the back straightaway, and we started catching the field ahead of us. And man, they just all spread out. You know, there was a couple guys thought they were on go-karts out there instead of stock cars, and you know, I think that was just really stacking some things up and causing some problems. But You know, it was a heck of a race. It was great racing out there. Just got a little bit too wild. I got to say, impressive run by Kevin Harvick. He was riding around there in the back, and on one of those restarts, me and him were back there, and man, he went and we went, and I pushed him once, he pushed me, and then I passed him, and then he passed me, and so, you know, it's pretty cool to see him come from back there and win that thing. And I just want to say thanks to DuPont and National Guard, Pepsi, everybody on board this Chevy Impala SS, and all the fans for coming out. I think they saw a heck of a show.
Wild is an understatement. A sign of things to come for the 500, or will things sort themselves out by then?
Man, I hope not. I mean, if there's cautions late in the race, absolutely. You know, everybody comes here to win, but it's a 500-mile race. We got to use our heads a lot more than that. You know, and I think just because it's a shorter race and it's not, you know, for points or the Daytona 500, I think guys are laying it out there on the line quite a bit more.
It's always a go for broke show in the Bud Shootout.
Jeff Gordon said, I'm happy with my Impala SS. Well, out of St. Louis, Missouri is Nelly. And Nelly says like this, yo, I'm Jeff Gordon in the black SS with the navigation. That was my entertainment for all of you while you're laughing at me. But let me tell you something.
We always laugh at you, Kenny.
Ryan McKinney, Allison Marshall, they texted me. They wanted me to sing that because they said, and I seen like all of you did, Jeff Gordon is back by popular demand. It's like he had a navigation system in there. You seen him miss the first wreck. Whoop, 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 whoop. And network TV, Fox said, look at this. This is unbelievable. Tonight, Jeff Gordon was possessed. And did you hear what he said? He said, I don't know where I was going. I just knew that I couldn't lift off the gas. Me and Spence can tell you when it comes down with 3 to go, you're just like this. Whoa. And if a guy spins off of you, sorry, I couldn't lift. And Jeff Gordon said that to all of you. I don't know where I was going. I just couldn't lift. And that's what happened. Jeff Gordon had a great night.
Well, you know, we can't promise you who's going to win the Daytona 500, but we can promise you that Kenny Wallace will do no more rap songs before this edition of Victory Lane is over. Stick around, though. We still have a lot to come. The fans are packed in the fan zone, and they're not leaving yet.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge. Recreate, hibernate.
Well, it's kind of strange the way this place gets so quiet after being so loud and so wild tonight in this 31st annual Budweiser Shootout. Kevin Harvick was the victor, but everybody else had a rough time behind him. It seemed like only 11 cars were left when this thing was all said and done. But let's take you back to lap number 5, one of the first big ones. Well, like I said, the first big ones because there were several big ones along the way. It was David Reagan getting the worst end of that one, along with a lot of other calls, including Joey Logano and Scott Speed. Let's hear what they had to say afterwards.
I don't know, just someone on the outside checked up, and I know that I was completely out of the throttle for probably, you know, a full second or a split second, and I guess the 7 car just didn't, you know, see us checking up that early. You know, just one of those things that usually when you're 3 rows, 4 rows back from someone that checks up, somebody doesn't see it, and I just wished it would have happened a couple of rows back.
Up there in front of Jimmy, somebody got loose. Jimmy darted down. David said he got on the brakes, and I got to be honest, I didn't get to the brakes in time. You know, I just moved to the high line, and that line was moving, and they checked up a couple in front of me, and I got into the 6.
It's just, what are you supposed to do? You know, you kind of know where to go in the situation. It's just, no, I didn't learn much at all. You know, 5-6 laps into it, so I don't know. We tried hard though. I just got to thank everyone at Home Depot.
Guys crashed in front of me, lots of smoke, craziness, screaming, let go of the wheel. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, the guy spun out, and we were on the high side. With these cars being so heavy and so fast, there's not a lot of moving you can do, so we just got caught up in it.
You got to at least appreciate Scott Speed's enthusiasm, man. He's been great so far, at least with us on TV here. He's had a fun time, but not a fun time for the drivers involved in those big wrecks, and there were a lot of them tonight. Now, like Jeff Gordon said, you know, as drivers, we probably got to calm down a little bit before we get into this Daytona 500.
Well, and let me explain this to you fans. Being a driver in the past, what happens is you got 3 or 4 cars in a draft. That's pretty good. Now you get 8 in a draft. Then all at once, what we see in here is, you know, 12, 15, 16 cars. What happens is what David Reagan says. You know, this guy starts to check up, then the next guy behind him and behind him. What happens, though, fans, is there's not enough room. There's just not enough time. And this is what the end result is. What bothers me is that, man, I wanted to see Joey, I wanted to see Scott and these guys at least log some laps. you know, and get that experience they needed, because it's very important for these guys to get the time on the track, Kenny. You know, there's nothing like time for a rookie. You and I both know that.
Well, the mentality is I want to show you how good I am. I want to get up there. I want you all to know how hungry I am. And Jeff Gordon was so disappointed. He says, darn it, Harvick rode around in the back, and when it was time to go, he went. So, you know, it's a mentality thing. If you're sure of yourself, you can ride around the back and press it down when it's time to go. Your sponsor's happy with you, you can do that. Your sponsor's not happy with you, they're pushing you, you got to go up there, and you wreck out. So, happy Harvick. Was full of confidence. His sponsor loves him. He rode in the back, and then when it's time to go, he showed how good he was.
And 3 wins in this 500. Jeff Gordon should be plenty confident heading into that.
He knows.
What do you see? Do we see anybody sticking their nose out front here as in terms of being a dominator for the rest of the week?
No, not from what we've seen in practice and tonight. I'm pulling for the Wood brothers tomorrow in the pole qualifying, the course pole qualifying. I'm excited about that, Johnny. I'm hoping he can do it.
Now, we start out tomorrow, race fans, with 11:30 edition of NASCAR Live. We'll take you up to qualifying here at Daytona. We'll set the first 2 positions, and we'll find out what 3 go-or-go-home cars will lock themselves in by virtue of time. And if you were with us here earlier this afternoon, saw a pretty terrible-looking wreck on the racetrack during the ARCA Series race. It involved Patrick Sheltra and Larry Hollenbach. And, Kenny, you had a chance to talk to Patrick.
Well, I need to say this. A lot of people in St. Louis, all the dirt racers, wanting to know, how is Patrick Sheltra? Patrick Sheltra, I just talked to him. He's at the Halifax Hospital. He says, Kenny, tell all my fans my back's sore. They're going to keep him overnight. Patrick Sheltra, good to go. His seat buckled up. Patrick Sheltra is okay. He's doing good.
And last we heard on Larry Hollenbach, he was conscious and responsive. So we wish those guys both the best of luck and a speedy recovery. And we hope you guys join us here tomorrow on Speed as we kick off our coverage at 11:30 Eastern Time. Take you right up to qualifying for the Daytona 500. Congratulations once again to Richard Childress Racing and Kevin Harvick. And keep it here on Speed all weeks long.